It's my birthday! Hi, I'm Lexi, and I was born 32 years ago today. I know what you're thinking, 32 has never looked so good, and I can't agree more. When my 32nd birthday was upcoming, I had this thought come into my head, and I was like, I wonder what crimes happened 32 years ago today. Your second does have one very notorious thing that has happened. Do you recognize him? Yep, that's Pablo Escobar. 32 years ago today was the unaliving of Pablo Escobar. Now, if you don't know who Pablo Escobar is, he is one of the most notorious rug dealers specialized in selling snow that wasn't snow, if you know what I mean. And you're probably thinking, how much snow could this guy actually sell? Well, in case you're wondering, you see that pile of cash? Well, he had tons of it. He was bringing in approximately $420 million a week, which is absolutely insane. Now, Pablo Escobar himself is a pretty controversial guy. Pablo Escobar is from Colombia, and Colombians actually really loved Pablo. He was known as like the modern day Robin Hood. He built hospitals, schools, he supported their national soccer team. So he was actually pretty well loved by the Colombians himself. However, he did have a pretty dark side. It is estimated that he killed approximately 4,000 people. So you definitely have a dark side and a good side, I guess you could say. Pablo was known for one saying, and his saying was plata o ploma, which means silver or lead, or in other words, accept the bribe or you're not alive. You may be wondering, how did the unaliving of Pablo Escobar happen? Well, let's go back a little bit. So, Pablo Escobar was a very wanted man. He was wanted by the US government, the Colombian government. He was wanted by a lot of people. So in 1991, he actually turned himself in to the Colombian government only if they would allow him to do one thing, and that one thing was to build his own prison. And surprise, surprise, his prison had a nightclub in it, saunas, and he was still able to do his day-to-day snow dealing work. And he was still doing stuff, surprise, surprise, that he wasn't supposed to. So the Colombian government said, you know what, this isn't working out for us. You're still like doing really bad things. So we're going to actually need you to come to one of our jails. And now, if you don't know this, one of Colombia's jails is definitely not as cushy as one of his mansions. I was like, heck no, I am not doing that. So in 1992, Pablo Escobar escaped. Fast forward to 1993, December 2nd, 1993. The United States federal government and the Colombian federal government had their eyes on him. They had all of his phone wires tapped. They were like watching Pablo. They're like, we're going to get you, man. So December 2nd, 1993, Pablo Escobar slipped up and he called his family. The government quickly found out where he was, and he was in Medellin. He was alongside of his bodyguard, and once they saw that the police, a special unit of the Colombian police, were actually the ones who were deployed to go and get him, and once they saw that the police were onto them, they started jumping these rooftops in Medellin, Colombia. There was lots of pew pew fire, and eventually Pablo Escobar was struck in the head, is what they believe to be the killing factor. However, he did have pew pew wounds in his arms, his legs, pretty much everywhere. Pablo Escobar's brothers believe that he probably unalived himself because he always said if he was put into the corner, he would unalive himself before going back to prison. The autopsy reports find that it was most likely a long distance pew pew bullet is what killed him. After he was unalive, his cartel kind of fragmented and then kind of went all other places. And of course, as always, a new big guy steps in. So the Cali cartel soon took his place. So that's what happened 32 years ago today. Make sure you hit that follow button because I'm going to be covering a few more true crime things that happened on December 2nd and more true crime things as always. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.